Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. We can't stop winning. All I do is win, win, win no matter what. I took that from my idol, DJ Khaled. He taught me everything I know. Am I aware that he recently made some comments that might be considered sexist? Are you aware that that's the entire context of this joke? Although you might be watching it, you know, like 7 years from now, God willing. Who knows? Anyway, YXTT, Yoog! Great rate of fire, great damage. Well, combined with the rate of fire, the damage is above average, I would say. We got bone tears, and we got 6 bone hearts. We don't have bone tears. We have 6 bone hearts. So that item looks similar to like broken bone or whatever the heck it's called, but is not quite the same. So it's a real weird situation. I'm really happy we got a spirit heart, because having 6 bone hearts is actually overpowered. I think. I don't know. I've never really had it as a character, except for as the Forgotten. So I'm a little bit confused about how this is going to manifest for us. But on the other hand, it seems like it should be cool. This is what I want out of these booster pack videos, or any video that's in the Isaac subgenre right now, is for us to have the ability to learn something new about the items and the way that they're contextualized if we're not playing as Bone Lord himself. So, I mean, you know what I'm doing here. Taking a lot of cracks at this, looking for the quarter. Hey! We actually got it. So we'll just let our tears and whatever we get from Sissy Longlegs take care of the remaining spiders, and all of a sudden we might not have the ability to actually go to our shop yet because we need a key, but this is looking really good. The next step is start filling up these bone hearts, and the easiest way to do that is via full health pill, sun card, anything along those lines. But another potential option is to play this guy right here. So right now in my brain, I'm like, where do I slot this on the pantheon of Eden runs? Is this a bad run, below average, average, above average, great, amazing? You know, it's tough to say because I don't really understand the bone hearts that well, but I think it's in the great camp. Damage and DPS, great. Speed, pretty much average. But our ability on the bone heart side of things, I mean, if we can fill these up, it's like starting an Isaac run or an Eden run, I guess I should say, with 6 HP, which is really, really, really good. A lot of the time, you start with 0. So to start with 6 seems fantastic. It's kind of a cool start. I like the Eden starts where you gotta, you know, solve a little bit of a puzzle on the first floor in order to, you know, figure out how things should go. Infested's fine. It's kind of a tough call. We'll probably go Battery Baby. We'll try this first. Ace of Spades. Okay. We get our key back. Map is also fine, but I think Battery Baby is just like a little bit more useful. And we do have another opportunity to use our Notched Axe in there if we so desire. That way we can have a chance. This feels like a secret room. Let's go. Ah, extremely not let's go. Now we're back. Let's go again. I'm getting a little perturbed, I have to admit. What was it? It was D12, that's right. You know, 2014, 2015, Nintendo releases a game. Debatably, for the phone. It's called Me Tomo. My cat's name is Tomo. What a strange coincidence you find yourself saying. I was saying the same thing. 2018, they announced some new Pokémon games. Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu. All I can say is, you know, I can't wait for Super Mario World Acquiesce Edition coming out in 2020. Metroid novel. You can see that in, well, they're never going to make a new Metroid probably, so see that never, I suppose. What other was the next one? If we're gonna roast myself fully, it would be like, oh, I can't wait to see Yoshi's Island, not too bad. I know I say too bad. There's a little, there's something, you know, when people say it to me, I don't notice it at all, but apparently when I say it, people lose their freaking minds. I'm just checking my mic volume because it seems like I'm peeking a little bit here. Oh yeah, that's a little bit too hot, to be honest. It'll take me down to the 60s there. Take me down into the volume 60s where I can yell without getting pity. Oh, won't you please? Yeah, we got it. That was just a sound check. You wouldn't understand. It's something professionals do. Yeah, people up here, they say too bad all the time. I don't know if it's a Canadian thing or it's a regional dialect. It's kind of like no worries, you know? I used to think no worries was, it was just Australian you're welcome, but, now I use it all the time, and, you know, I can't tell if it's regional, Canadian, millennial, 50% concentrated power of will, 40% pleasure, 5% pain, you know, you get the idea. Dude, this first floor, I want to purge the curse just to see how large this floor is, because I feel like we've done at least 3 big rooms, which is more than you would expect from floor 1. Like, considering the run is pretty solid, we're taking 6 minutes just to get through the first floor. Makes boss rush, like, almost literally impossible already. Not that I'm complaining, because we did get a lot of value on this floor. I mean, we got map, we got battery, baby. We've preserved every single one of our bone hearts. We found our secret room. And 100% reason to remember the name, as long as we're going through the ledger of things that we got going on this run. And so far, I like it. This is like it's a cool start. It's like you go watch a movie, and then, you know, they introduce the Warner Brothers logo, but instead of it just being the Warner Brothers logo, it does a little glitched out thing. You know, it goes, you know, it's not necessarily an indication that the movie's going to be good, but you know it's going to mess with you a little bit. NL, did you steal that bit directly from the Onion? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. You caught me. But I satirically stole it from the Onion. Either way. I'm feeling pretty good, because, like, I wrote my final exam for my final class of the year today, and I have a summer break for the first time in, like, 3 years. And it feels awesome. You know? I thank you. This is where if I were a stand-up comedian, I'd say, I finished school the other day, and then everyone would clap. You know, there's weird things that stand-up comedians can say that will always get applause, not because it's necessarily that rock shined, dude. That must be, and we'll use pickaxe to take care of it, notched axe, but that must be a crawl space or black market. It's not because what the comedian said is actually applause-worthy, it's just because we've learned that when a comedian says these things, you applaud. I've been thinking about that a lot. I watched a John Mulaney comedy special the other day. I've been ignorant of the cult of John Mulaney except for, oh, hello. And it was really good. But he said, you know, my wife and I have been married for 3.5 years, and everyone in the audience clapped, and he said, thank you. And I said, why are you clapping for that? I'm not saying you shouldn't clap for it. But you didn't clap when he made the joke about Brendan Dassey that I thought was substantially more clever because it referenced something that I'm familiar with. You know, I was watching it, and I was like, I've been married for 4 years. More than 4 years, you know, by a couple of weeks, actually, if you've been following the, you know, the news of my celebrations. As I know you are all doing at an intimate level. And again, depending on when you watch this, well, you know what, to be fair, I should not be a hypocrite. Maybe I watched his 2-year-old special, I don't know, so he might be a little bit past me, but I was like, why are you applauding for that? It's like stand-up comedian etiquette. They talk about it like, we have 2 beautiful kids, everyone goes, woo! I wish that it worked like that in all contexts, but it doesn't, you know? There's only one question that's like, that works like that in real life, and that's like, is everybody ready? And then you go, and then the person doing it goes, I can't hear you, is everybody ready? And then like somebody goes, oh, fine. Woo! Alright, let's get started. It's the Social Media Awards for 2018. Anyway, get out of here, dude. This is like the slowest first couple of floors I've had in 100 years in this game. Not necessarily complaining. I mean, we picked up PhD, which has given us 2 one makes you small pills. I don't know why I even took bad gas there. It's not the strongest play I've ever made. I wish we had things like that in real life. I guess we do, you know? You know what our version of, like, learned behavior is as adults? Is like when someone complains about something publicly to us, but we don't really care, we go, oh, that sucks. We had a really hard day at work today. Oh, that sucks. It's like, there's bi-directional learning there. Because you know, as soon as someone says that sucks to you, you're like, I shouldn't continue talking about what I was going to talk about because they're clearly uninterested. You know, it's just good etiquette to like, well, anyway, let's get on. Like, what are you going to have for an appetizer here? It's the same thing like if you tell a joke and in text somebody says LOL or haha or even ha ha ha, although that's a slightly better reaction. LOL, haha, and ha 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 are like if somebody says that's funny in real life. It's like you don't have to say that's funny, just laugh. If you find it funny, just laugh. We've got an emotion for that, and a gesture is built in. If you recognize that something's trying to be funny but didn't quite get there, you can say, oh, that's funny. But it's an insult. See, what I do is I just don't respond, and then they get the message. Unfortunately. So we are on an XL floor. This gives us a chance to recover from the fact that we're a little bit behind schedule. Not that we need to recover. I don't know why I keep using bombs instead of notched axe. Actually, I do. It's because notched axe, it adds such a minor functionality that, to be honest with you, I sometimes forget that it even exists. I'm more disappointed with anything, or if anything, that our deal with the devil is like out of control here. Our first floor deal with the devil was trash, and on this floor we've only got a 33% chance to make it happen. But now I can stop complaining because we picked up Cat o' Nine Tails, so it's all good. Hey, stay out of here. It's been an eventful week. There's not too much backlog in the Isaac videos anymore because of the fact that, you know, again, we burned off like a whole month of backlog. Getting the videos to converge again. Don't mind if I do. So, like, in the course of the last week, what's happened? Well, obviously, the biggest news of all is that I finished my exam. Please, or I did my final exam and presentation. Please tell me more. Oh, would you like to know an in-depth example of how to use Socket.io, a framework that allows for real-time communication between the front end and the back end of your Node.js application? Didn't think so. So, you know what? Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to. Don't write checks with your requests that your anus can't cash. What does that mean? I don't know. I heard it on Big Brother once. Big Brother Season 1. Season 1. None of this Season 10 Dan Giesling stuff. I go back to the OG. Canada and the United States are in a trade war, so that's pretty cool. So I'm sorry to inform you that if you're watching this video and you're from America, I have to hate you now. And, you might be saying that's alright, I already hate myself, and I'm like, I know that life. But yeah, so we're at war right now, which is pretty cool. Like, I've never been involved in like any kind of war. I guess I'm one of the belligerents in the war on Christmas because you know, I do tend to say happy holidays because I just don't care. You know, when I say Merry Christmas, I'm being dishonest as well. Because I do hope you have a Merry Christmas. I don't actively wish, and I don't know, sometimes I think my co-hosts, they just think I'm a terrible person because, you know, if you encounter any kind of antagonism in your life, it's like I gotta eliminate whatever's causing that. So they'll be like, hey, Ryan, how do you feel about the new Pokémon? I'll be like, I don't really care. They're like, wow! Oh, I didn't realize my life decisions offend you. Okay, so I shouldn't care about it. That's okay! We're all good, okay? I don't care about Pokemon. You can care about Pokemon if you wish. That's more power to you. The more joy there is in this world, I think the easier it is, and from a selfish standpoint, the easier it is on me, because people that are happy are easier to deal with. People who are, you know, frustrated or sad or angry all the time, they're very annoying to deal with, and, you know, it's harder for them than it is for me, but at the same time, it makes my life easier if everybody's happy. Help me? Oh, thank God. But, now I've pivoted into the Pokemon conversation and I don't know how to get out. I completely forgot what I was talking about so far. I was like, I do an exam. There's the Socket.io joke that came in the middle there. We're gonna take the stopwatch. We're taking so many items that are like supposed to be compliments to the fact that we would have decent damage and HP. And to be fair, we are kind of in that position, but still a little bit slow. And Yo Listen is like shiny rock, but like, you know, with the text-to-speech on or something like that. I almost want to like go back in my own video and figure out what was I talking. I had a bit. I was building a bit. Oh, it was about the war on Christmas. That's right. Very timely conversation to be having, you know, right around the start of the summer season. The furthest you can conceivably get away from Christmas in general. But, you know, when I say Merry Christmas, I'm not so much saying I care if you have a Merry Christmas, because I don't. I think that's your personal business. If you want to have a terrible holiday season, by all means, to, you know, live your best or worst life. Don't let me get over or tell you how to do it. But it's more like, you know, this is how we say goodbye in December. You know, we have like a month-specific way to say goodbye. And if you don't think that's true, when somebody says Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays to you, just say thanks, but don't say you too at the end. And then come back in like a week and they're gonna remember you. They're gonna be like, that's the guy who didn't wish me Merry Christmas. Something's wrong with him, not with me. Anyway. So yeah, we're in a trade war right now, which is pretty cool. So, like, if you're American, like, for most of you, like, we're cool. But if you own an aluminum or a steel plant or, you know, anything along those lines, if you own a foundry, I'm sorry, I can't allow you to watch this video. You have to pay a tariff on it. So, everybody else, you know, if you're a developer or you work at a grocery store or, you know, you're a human sign spinner or something like that, it's Gucci. You know, I encourage you to continue watching the video and enjoying the entertainment. But if you happen to own a multinational conglomerate related to the production of a commodity, particularly something like steel, I'm sorry, but I'm going to need you to pay a tariff on this video. It's just the way it... I wish it weren't like this either, but I have to be NAFTA compliant. I'm GDPR compliant. I upgraded my privacy policy. My new privacy policy is don't tell me anything you wouldn't want me to put in a video. You've all agreed to it just by watching this so far, and as far as I'm concerned, we're good to go. Well, we're sort of good to go. We could be better to go. Thank you. We could be worse to go. We could be, Pokemon Go. Anybody remember that? I felt bad. I think I told this anecdote in a video already, but we were listening to the radio station. You know, the radio station. Have you heard of it? And this radio station is real edgy, which makes me upset because they play the music that I want to hear. So then when they come on and go, your mom's fat. I'm like, come on, guys. We don't just play more Pearl Jam. You don't need to go through this, all right? I'm not 14. I was 14 when I fell in love with this music, but I'm an adult now. You could be like, here's the traffic report. That's what I want to know. There's been a gnarly collision on Grandview Highway. No. Just give me the boilerplate information, okay? It's not 1995. Anyway, they were like, Niantic's having Pokemon Go Fest this year. It's going to be their second year in a row after the disaster that was last year. It raises the question, who still plays Pokemon Go? And I was in the car with my wife, who plays Pokemon Go, and I got mad, yelled at the radio station. Not like I'm, you know, for real, but in the car, I was like, she still plays Pokemon Go. Just let people enjoy things. And you see now I've come full circle, and, you know, even back to the Pokemon bit, I'm taking any form of criticism as a personal insult, and that's how you know when I insult people, I'm insulting the things that I see within myself, and it loops back around, and then I say I've been married for 4.5 years, and you applaud. And it's a callback, and that goes in the Netflix special. I'm gonna keep Shiny Rock, because honestly, I have been missing Tinted Rocks. So maybe having some kind of, like, redundancy there is pretty positive for us. I also, like, I feel like this, the past few Isaac episodes have been, like, well, probably like the past 100, which sort of is a few, if you think about it from my perspective of having done, like, 2,000 or more over the course of my existence. It's crazy to think, man. But what I was going to say to finish that thought, and then I'll get into the classic bit of me being old, is, yeah, we'll stick with AWAS for now. So we started playing Isaac. What? We lost a Boneheart and it shot the... Did we lose a... We didn't lose a Boneheart. What's going on here? I don't understand how this item works. And I'm gonna talk loudly to make the game feel like it's making a mistake and not me. Obviously we'll get that money. We started playing Isaac, 2011. Like, September in 2011, I think? So, we're coming up on our 7-year anniversary of playing this game. And, I'm 29 years old. So we're getting real close to me having played this game for a quarter of my life. That's wild. It's not even really like a quarter of my life. Because you also have to imagine, you know, if you want to know which way my political leanings lie, I'm about to say the phrase, life begins at 19. So you can probably infer the rest from yourself, and yes, that's a joke as well. But when I say, like, you know, a quarter of my life, again, you got, like, the first 3 years where you're learning a ton, but you don't really remember anything. Like, you have no memory consciously of those times, for the most part. I mean, there's probably 1,000 people watching this video that are like, I remember being 1. No, you don't, okay? Like, I know, you think you do, but, like, you actually don't. You just, at one point when you were 4, you had the idea that you remembered when you were 1, and you implanted the memory of having that memory inside of yourself. I don't believe, at least, correct me if I'm wrong here, but don't give me anecdotes, which is what I'm doing to you right now. Give me, you know, give me science, give me journals, etc., etc. Can the human brain... The human brain! I have a good brain, as you know. That's why my skull is so large. Why I have to buy hats that say one size fit all. I have to try them on first to make sure that that's not a lie. Hey, I'd really like to at least see Boss Rush, please, if you do not mind. Succubus was an incredible item. I would like to see Boss Rush if you do not. Thank you so much. Now I will be taking this immediately and entering this room, and I will take Cricket's head. And then I will leave this floor. And I feel like that was better than item room and shop, probably. We got some really good stuff there. But yeah, like, you know, you got to discount. I would say like the first 5 years of your life don't really count. And you don't even really start making your own decisions until you're at least 10 or 11. And by that, I don't mean like, you know, you decide to go to school. I mean, you decide like what your hobbies are at that point. Before the age of 10, you just like do what your parents do. You're like, you know, what are your hobbies as a 7-year-old? I like playing basketball with my dad, because my dad drives me to the basketball court, and he used to play basketball, so we play basketball together, and it's cute, but at the same time, it's meaningless, you know? So really, I would say that I've pretty much been playing Isaac for like... I mean, in terms of my adult life, I've been playing it for like 80% of it, which is absurd. We're in like full-on like I should be an esports pro right now. There's no excuse for me to ever lose in this game, now that I think about it that way. You know what's cool though, and this is why I like single-player games, and this goes for everything. Like the Mario Tennis Aces demo came out this weekend, and when I should have been polishing my assignment, I played that because it was so burned out that like, you know, you ever just like look at something that you're supposed to do for 3 hours and be like, you know, job well done. No? Come on, don't lie to me. I've been there. So I was playing the Mario Tennis Aces, and I was playing online, and I was like, this sucks. I'm willfully choosing to have at least a 50% chance to lose. Where's the fun in that? We talked about it on a roundtable like many, many months ago, but like, I don't like to lose in video games. It doesn't mean I'm a sore loser. It just means, you know, if I'm playing in my downtime, I would prefer to win, which is why I love playing like Super Mega Baseball 2 with the AI turned a little bit down. You want it to be so challenging that you think you could lose, but if you really thought about it, you're like, nah, 99% of the time we're gonna win. That's the way I prefer to play those games. So like, I just can't imagine how disheartening it must be to be like a Dota pro, and you've been playing the game for, you know, 7 years or more maybe, But your win rate is the same. It's like you're just choosing to win, or choosing to play harder and harder people. If you want to do that, more power to you. And by the way, I know there's going to be some reaction to this, and it's not like I'm trying to act like it's going to ruin my day or anything like that, but there'll be people who are like, well, you're developing a skill so you get better at it. Yeah, I know, but you're also developing a skill that is like, it's not really a skill. You, in the end, without alienating 100%, can we even, no, we can't even take these. All right, that's a weird interaction, but, you know, when it comes to, like, if you're learning carpentry, and I'm like, I don't know why you'd ever learn anything new in carpentry, just keep making a birdhouse over and over. That's stupid, because if you ever want to be a good carpenter, you know, you're going to have to learn how to use a hacksaw and a miter box and a lathe and etc., etc. But maybe this is a basic way of looking at it. Yeah, you might disagree with. Most of the video games that I play, including the ones that I play for my channels, I'm a professional. Twitch.tv/Northernlion. That's where you can pay your tariff if you're an American foundry owner. I'm just kidding. You know, the singular purpose is my own enjoyment. So yeah, I mean, you could learn the skill of being real freaking sweet at League of Legends. And believe you me, again, as you might be saying, is pot calling the kettle black? I know. I got 1,000 hours in Dota. If you want to know the attitude of the Dota community, when I say I have 1,000 hours in Dota, I get people that say you're like a little baby. Just, no big deal. Just 35 days of my, you know, short life committed to a single game that I haven't touched in at least 4 years. If you think, oh, 30 days, that's not that much. What does the average human being live for? Like, for simplicity's sake, like 35,000 days? I spent 0.1% of my life playing Dota. That's a ton! And no, I will not fight Hush here. That's a staggering amount of time to spend playing a single video game. So I'm with you. And I don't begrudge anybody that wants to play Dota, or, you know, they want to get insanely good at PUBG or something like that. More power to you. I have the same drive in my life, just in other areas, you know? Like when I go out and go for a bike ride, it's a surprisingly selfish but also very good analogy, because, you know, there's an expression, doesn't get easier the more you do it, you just go further. And I imagine that's what it feels like in Dota as well, you know? Like, the game never gets easier, you just face tougher competition. So I don't go out for a bike ride and go, you know, oh, it's gonna be a leisurely bike ride. I go out and I'm like, I'm attacking this curve. I'm going, you know, a kilometer further than I went yesterday, you know? And there's no real reason for that. It's not like I'm ever gonna compete in the Tour de France or anything. That actually sounds terrible. It sounds like something I am not interested in whatsoever. By the way, you want to know how you know I'm not rushing through this run? A, I've got an anecdote I'm pulling the string on, because the classic Northernlion formula for an anecdote is make myself look like a jerk and then pull it back by insulting myself towards the end, and then everyone realizes we're on the same page and we have a fun time together. But the other reason you know is because I have the blank card and the Emperor, and yet I'm not using it. And I probably won't use it on the next floor either, as long as we roughly know where we're going, at least. This run turned out really well, by the way. It got there eventually. So if you're doing Northernlion bingo, we've got a little bit of school talk, a little bit of programming talk, although it was tongue-in-cheek, a bike riding metaphor, and insulting his co-host clandestinely. So you've almost got 4 corners. Dude, bingo is so weird to me. I want to start like a bingo parlor, and it's just going to be called efficiency bingo. Because, you know, if you've never played bingo, or you haven't played bingo in long enough, you know, because most of the time it's played, it's one of those games that's not for people between the ages of 8 and 80. It's like, you got to be 8 or 80 to enjoy bingo. It's primarily played by school-age children and retired senior citizens, which is fine, you know? You got to use something to fill the day. But I want to start like an efficient bingo parlor. The way that it works is that you have a card with like randomized numbers in columns, and then they call them out. B13. You dab it on all the cards that you got. There's no skill testing component to bingo at all, except for the ability to dab correctly, and I know what I know what dab means, okay? We're gonna get through this together. But there's no skill testing component except for the ability to actually hear, which can be a challenge, I suppose. Correctly identify the numbers on all the cards you've got, and then have the manual dexterity to, you know, enter or mark every single one of them. But the results of bingo is almost always known at the start of the bingo match. The only thing that changes, I mean, like, the way that you determine who wins is based on the numbers that are drawn out of the thing. I'm just realizing now I've got a punchline. I'm going to tie it all together. You know who's going to win a bingo match once you know what all the numbers are. So I want to start like a bingo hall where you just go and you get a card. And then they press a button and they're like, okay, card 71, you won this one. And then you go, thank you. And you pick up, you know, your VCR DVD combination or whatever you get for prizes at the bingo hall these days. I've realized that what I've just described literally is already done. It's called a raffle. So I don't think that there's a lot of raffle emporiums. Something about that seems like more, not sleazy, but more like pure gambling. Just like you walk in and you buy a ticket and you're like, I lost. It's like a paper slot machine. It's a really, really inefficient slot machine. I really feel like, you know, when I was a kid, I thought, yeah, why not? I thought casinos were like really cool. It's like, wow, they got all sorts of games. Slot machines, roulette, blackjack, etc., etc. It really goes to show you, like, gaming has come a long way since whenever Las Vegas came to be. I'm gonna guess that was probably in the 1940s or something like that. Every game is played, well, with a few exceptions, is played with cards. Now, poker I'll give a pass because there's some game theory that goes into it. But, you know, blackjack in particular is an example. I like playing blackjack, but at some point, you know, it's just, you're really just hitting a button and seeing if you win with a bunch of extra steps thrown into the middle. There's a skill testing component to blackjack, but at this point, everybody knows, like, well, you go in, you get the card tells you the way that you should, like, the casino actually gives you this. They'll give you a card that tells you the optimal way to act, statistically speaking, depending on what you actually see that the dealer has and what you have as well. And that gives you something like a, you know, 49.5% chance to win. So in the end, you really are just doing a series of, like, interesting coin flips, unless you're counting cards, which is somehow against casino policy, which makes no sense to me. I didn't know you could just ban somebody for being very good at something. Like, whenever we play London on the NLSS, can I be like, I'm sorry, sir, it appears you're trying very, very hard. We're gonna have to ask you to leave. That's against the code of conduct here. Only the casino is allowed to cheat. The casino doesn't need to cheat. It's already rigged in their favor, and people get on an airplane and fly to Las Vegas to experience those odds. I'm not anti-gambling, by the way. I just, you know, when it comes to gambling, I really don't like slot machines. Blackjack, roulette, you know, it's kind of fun to just sit there for a bit if you're hanging out with people, I guess, and, you know, go low stakes. But sports betting is kind of fun because it gives you an excuse to watch the game, I guess. But in the end, I don't know. I think playing video games ruined, like, the concept of table games and card games for me. Because it's really like a deck of playing cards is like the world's worst video game console. It's an amazing invention. It's entertained billions of people for thousands of years. I don't know when playing cards were invented, but I'm assuming it was, you know, like the year 3 or something like that. But, you know, I think we've moved past it. We have Fortnite now! We don't need solitaire. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. And, of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I will see you next time.